So this question says, 18 divided by 2 over 3. Because we have a division number sentence and one of the values is a fraction, that means that we're going to have to use a process known as KCF. And it might sound like it's the name of a fast food chicken restaurant, but it's actually a process which means keep, change, flip. We're going to keep the first value the same, we're going to change our division to multiplication, and then we're going to flip our fraction so that the top becomes the bottom and the bottom becomes the top. But before we can even do that, we need to make sure that all of our values that we're dealing with are fractions. And this number, 18, is not yet. So how do we turn 18 into a fraction? Well, in order to do that, we need to just put it as 18 over 1. Any whole number becomes a fraction when you put 1 under it and make it a fraction. So now that we have it set up, let's proceed to use KCF. Like we said before, the K stands for keep. So this 18 over 1, we're going to keep it exactly the same. So in this box here, we're just going to write 18 over 1. In this box, C, we're going to take this division symbol and we're going to change it into multiplication. So in this box, I'm going to write a multiplication sign. And finally, the F stands for flip. So we're going to take 2 over 3 and we're going to flip it so that the top becomes the bottom and the bottom becomes the top. So instead of 2 over 3, so after we flip it, we won't have 2 over 3 anymore. Instead, we're going to have 3 over 2. Now that we have a multiplication of fraction question, all we have to do is multiply our numbers straight across. So when we do this, we'll have 18 times 3 will give us our new top. So we'll put equals 18 times 3. And our new bottom is going to be the result of multiplying the bottoms in our fractions. 1 times 2. So what is 18 times 3? Well, I always like to put an extra workspace for things like that. So I'll put 18 times 3. 3 times 8 is 24. So I'll bring down the 4 and carry the 2. Then 3 times 1 is 3. Plus this 2 is 5. So that means 18 times 3 is 54. So I'll write 54 right here. Over 1 times 2, which is just 2. But the problem here is that we have an improper fraction. We cannot leave it like this. The top is bigger than the bottom. So what we have to do is convert it. And in order to do that, we're just going to have to divide 54 by 2. And that sounds like it might involve a little work, so we'll go back to our workspace. And I'll write 54 inside the long division notation. I'll put the long division notation there, and then write 2. And I like to make sure that we have our columns lined up. So I like to drop a line in between my values. 54, okay. So first, we're trying to see how many times 2 can go into 5. And that's 2 times. So I'll put a 2 here. 2 times 2 is 4. When I subtract that, I get 1. Then we'll bring down the 4 to get 14. And how many times can 2 go into 14? Well, that's 7. because 7 times 2 is 14. When I subtract that, I get 0, and I've gone to my last place value, so I know that we're done here. And our final answer is going to be 27. So we'll put that here, and we can say the quotient of 18 over 1 divided by 2 over 3 is equal to 27. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Math Review.